this is kind of common in terms of what we see in real estate. But this is something that I have always thought about from a how we generate leads perspective in real estate. Is I call this the lead temperature spectrum. Okay. So on the far left side, we have what is called forced registration, which I'll explain in a second. And those are going to be like your absolute coldest leads, right? And then on the other side down here is what would be like a home evaluation. That's like bottom of funnel. People are basically ready for you to go into their house right now. Okay. So that's kind of the spectrum, is like super cold to super hot, obviously. So I want to explain forced registration to you guys for a second, because a lot of people run advertising campaigns this way. And I actually started running ads this way because I thought it was the right thing to do. But I found like the lead quality and the amount of effort that I had to put in to convert these leads was like so much work. It was ridiculous. It was a crazy amount of fake names, fake numbers, etc. And so what a forced registration looks like, and you'll see this often, is like this. If some of you guys are running Google ads, you might be running traffic from Google that goes to like an IDX website, which is like, give me your email address and your name to like see these pictures of a house. So this is an example. So get full access to these listings to view photos. Is anybody running those type? If you're running those ads, it's fine. There's no problem with it. You'll still get leads, but I want to explain to you why sometimes they're more difficult to convert. So is anybody running like an IDX or forced registration type of advertisement right now? Why these guys are cold is because it's, to be very honest, it's not really a strong offer. Like, there is already hesitation or reluctance to give you their contact information because they're like, I just want to see the pictures of the house. I don't want to give you my contact information. I just straight up want to see the pictures of the house. So there's already friction in the relationship between you and the lead because they're being forced to register. They don't want to register. They're being forced to register, which is why it's called forced registration. And those are kind of like the coldest leads that you can get. And that's why you'll often get mickeymouse@gmail.com, because all they want is to pass this step and go to the next step to see the photos. They don't want to be followed up with by you. They don't want to see stuff in their email by you. They just want the pictures of the photo at that time. Does that make sense? Yep. Okay, cool. So then on the other side of the spectrum is home evaluation offers. And these are usually the hottest leads. Okay. And that is like, that would look something like this. So like, what's your home worth? They put their property address in, and you let them know what the CMA is or what that looks like. So some of you guys are wondering, shouldn't I just go for the hottest leads immediately? Right? It makes sense. I usually don't run these ads. And the reason why I don't run like super bottom of funnel ads right on Meta immediately to like a cold audience is because, one, the lead costs are the highest. This is where everybody wants to advertise, because who doesn't want a lead where you can go directly into their house immediately? The second thing is your online competition is extremely high. So you're competing with the Zillows, if you're in Canada, the House Sigmas, like you're competing with people that have way bigger budgets than you or I have. Okay. The third thing that I found with these is if you generate these types of leads, not only do you have typically a higher lead cost, and that's because you have more competition online, you also, when you get into the house, usually are competing with other agents because they're actively searching, they're in market for a solution, and they want other agents to tell them what the average like price of their house would be. And so it isn't usually just a come list me type of lead. It's I'm going in and I'm competing in a listing presentation because they're looking for the person that's going to get me the highest price with the lowest commission, right? And the last thing is, a lot of sellers online, there's different ways to target them because they don't want to show their cards to say that they're an active seller in the market immediately. Okay. So for us, how we run our ads is not a forced registration and it's not a home evaluation. We try and run our ads somewhere down the center. And so I call it a medium rare offer. Okay. A super rare offer would be like really cold, not cooked at all. Well done is like this person's totally cooked, ready for us to come through. What I want to do is I want to target people who are like middle of funnel, medium rare, so that what I can do is I can continue to warm them up until they're cooked and be the only option. That's like I already have the relationship at that point in time, and that's how I get the come list me calls. So when you advertise in this way, you have a lower lead cost, you have less competition online because most people want to go either bottom of funnel or they don't know what to do, so they go straight top of funnel because they think that's the only way to do it. So there's less competition online for these types of ad placements. There's less competition in person because you've already built the relationship. You're not starting your relationship here. You're starting your relationship here. So you already know that they're slightly down the funnel for you. They're actively looking for some type of solution, but it's up to you to kind of cook the rest of the relationship so that there's less competition when you actually get into the listing presentation or the buyer consultation, which is what we call a strategy session, because you can add value along the way.